What's up, guys? Welcome back to Team Solemn Circus Live. To the left side here, we have Ryzeal Fiendsmith with the Mathematic cards being going up against Memento Fiendsmith. This is going to be a deck that I was playing for a bit now, kind of splashing around. We are going to be seeing Memento end up winning the die roll here, going to be absolutely huge in this matchup. With Detonator going to be able to pop numerous stuff on the field, not letting us to resolve our effects completely with Memento cards. Winning the die roll is going to be absolutely huge here. We are going to be seeing a Dark Play, going to be a normal summon, activating the effect. We don't see a copy of Fua being chained to this, which is going to be very fortunate for us because we are going to be seeing Dark Blade fortunately get hit with Fua quite a bit there. Search for the Anguish, and we're going to search for a copy of, or summon out the Anguish, I should say, from the Dark Blade. There's a list for the Topdecking. We're going to see the Topdecking being summoned out, and we're going to act for the effect destroying itself, dumping the Gadget as well as most likely the Sleepy, or the Goblin and the Mace in this case. Those are kind of the two variations of this combo. We're going to see the Gadget summon itself out, not for the effect, allowing us to add back one of the three targets in the graveyard here. Trying to add back the Goblin there, it looks like. And then we are going to be seeing the Anguish going to destroy the Mace, or destroy the Gadget, summon out the Mace. And then we're going to activate the effect of the field spell, or the fusion spell here. Going to be sending a copy of Dark Blade, the Goblin, and then shuffling back the Gadget to the graveyard, or leaving the Goblin in the hand there. Going for that twin, shuffling back, of course, the Gadget in the graveyard and the Dark Blade. Then we're going to go for the Twin Dragon, which is to destroy the copy of the Anguish, searching for the Fusion, or the Sleepy, as well as the Combined Creation there. We still have Sleepy and Goblin in the hand, so we're going to be able to see potentially a Fusion summon with that. Or going for the Chiron instead of the Combined Creation. They're going to see Sleepy summon itself out, activate its effects to Fusion Summon. And we're going to Fusion Summon using the Chiron itself. Okay. Going for the Creation King here. Creation King will then activate its effects, dumping the Combined Creation. And then most likely just like a copy of Gadget we'll get put back. We're then going to banish to let us search for the field spell here. And this is going to allow us to kind of go up into the Fiendsmith combo there. They're going to see Mace destroy the Twin Dragon, letting us now search for our deck for most likely a copy of another Sleepy, because we do play two Sleepy here. Most players do not play two Sleepy, but I am very, very fond on that two Sleepy myself. Then we're going to see the Carrion activate the effects as well as the field spell, summon out the copy of Anguish, and then we're going to see Twin Dragon as well, summon out the copy of the Dark Blade. And this is going to give us a whole bunch of bodies here to kind of continue off for our Fiendsmith lines, as well as potentially going for an IP. We're going to see a Fiendsmith being made there. Going for Requiem, we're going to see the Lacrima, dumping the Engraver. This is going to allow us to go for Caesar now. And again, that's not really important. We're just going to speed through this, knowing that our opponent doesn't really have anything. They could potentially have a Nib there, so we could go for like a SP line if we really wanted to. We haven't summoned back the Combined Creation there, so it's not going to be that much of a huge difference. We still have the Fusion. We have the Memento Fusion spell in the graveyard, still can activate the effect there, allowing us to destroy the Chiron to search for a copy of. We should search for Bone Party here. I have no idea why we are searching for the Fusion spell, but now we have double Fusion spell. That is a little bit of a misplay on our parts there. But we're going to add another Gadget to the hand there. We're going to go Bone Party, destroy the Gadget. Okay. And then that's going to let us summon out the copy of the Horned Dragons. We already had the Bone Party in the hand there. Then we're going to be seeing the Gadget going to be able to activate. Or just link up into an SP there. And then we do put back. We could have left another body in the graveyard if we wanted to leave the yeah, we definitely played it a little bit incorrectly. We could have had multiple summons, leaving the Horned Dragon onto the field to get multiple pops off of this, but this is still going to be pretty fine here. We still have the Horned Dragon in the graveyard, and then of course the Combined Creation, as well as the field. We're also going to be able to reset the Bone Party and the Fusion spell as well, letting us search for 2 more cards, which is pretty cool, or giving the opportunity to go up into Guardian Chimera as well. Now, obviously, Ryzeal does have a good way to kind of out this Caesar by having the X in their hand if they do have it, but this could be a bunch of different interruptions here, which is going to be absolutely difficult. We're going to be seeing an Engraver. We're going to activate the effects now, and that's going to allow us to search for a track. But we are going to be seeing the Combined Creation now going to activate the effect, bring with the Anguish. Anguish allows us to activate the effect, letting us search for the copy of the Mace. Now we have another Snatch Steal as well. So looking at our interruptions here, we have a 2 negate special summon with the Engraver. We have Lacrima engrave with the Requiem. We have SP on the field, as well as we have a Bone Party. And then we have an insane follow-up. Like, our follow-up is going to be absolutely just insane there. And then we do negate the summon of Lurie with the Caesar. No point letting them even kind of continue into that pile. Now, they are left on 5 cards in the hand because this is all off 1 card here. But they kind of have used 1 interruption as well. So we're going to be seeing an Ice being normal summon activating the effect. We do chain the Caesar to negate and destroy there. So then now they have used 2 and we've used 2. But we're left with 4 more interruptions for their 4 more cards, which is kind of unfortunate there. Now we do see the X going to be summoned. Now you might be wondering, why did we not use that first? I had the exact same question myself. Why would we normal summon Ice activating the effect when you just use the X first and the middle logic to negate that Caesar altogether here? But now we can just have the ability to pop or snatch steal this X altogether here. Definitely then we see a misplay on the Ryzeal parts. I can't believe we actually opted to do that there. That's going to be definitely a rough line. Now we can just use the effect to chain, target the Anguish as well as itself to pop. Very rough, honestly, on the Ryzeal side. Having X already in the hand and Ice is just kind of insane. Obviously, I do understand, going for the Fiendsmith lines first, perhaps, because then we would have locked ourselves on the link 4s, but like, there's really no point. We might as well kept the Engraver in the hand for the follow-up turn and just play with X to send there. But we are going to be seeing the sword going to be searched now. And then we have still the SP as well as like Snatch Steal, which is important. We do summon out the copy of Sword. That's going to activate its effects, allowing us to search our deck for either a star, an Ice, or an X. And we're going to go for that Ice once again. Now we can special summon it out by discarding a card in our hand, but it's going to be still very difficult. We're going to see the Ice sending the copy of Superfactorial to open up a brick there, and then we're going to go Memento Fusion using the Caesar itself and a Fua in the hand. This is going to a Guardian Chimera, popping 2 cards and drawing 1, which is one of the reasons why I really like the effect of Guardian Chimera. You can just use your Caesars and have the body as well, kind of rip it there. And then we do unfortunately have the Node in the hand, and that's going to be a game for Ryzeal here. So we see Memento end up taking game 1 there. Having that control, not having any of those hand traps, and opening up a whole bunch of engine cards is not what we're looking for. Ryzeal, the deck itself, does run a bunch of hand traps. When you open up no non-engine, it's like Ice and X can only do so much, especially when you're playing the Fiendsmith cards as well as the copies of the Math Mech stuff. It's like this is going to be a little bit more extra bricks, or engine cards that just unfortunately just don't get you there going second. But a lot of times you are going to be seeing in this current meta that going second is just going to be the struggle. When you don't open up those hand traps. A lot of times it is very die roll dependent. We see Mitsuguri kind of losing the Droll and nothing else, and that's why they're playing cards like Salesman and Prohibition. And then we see, even like Live Twins if the card gets popped and stuff like that, or a whole bunch of other stuff in like the decks, like Ryzeal having to go first, Malice having those trap cards you can brick a lot of times going second as well, and having a formidable end board to kind of break that stuff. It's like you need these hand traps to break the boards as well as like make the boards kind of playable. Here for die 1 in the game 2, we are going to be seeing Memento being forced to go second, with Ryzeal going first here. And will we see any hand traps to kind of continue playing, or will we just go overwhelming them with the Ryzeal plays? We do see an Engraver activating once again now, letting us search for the Tract. This can be potential full Fiendsmith combo, letting us play through Nibiru. Now we're going to go for the Tract into Lurie. Lurie going to summon itself out. Do we see a Bell in response to this? I know Bells are a lot more popular during this format here. But no, we're going to be seeing the Lurie going to summon out into the Requiem. And then will Requiem get ashed? It does not appear so now we're going to go for the Lacrima. Lacrima can then dump the copy of the Trap or the Engraver here. Does not really make that much of a difference in this case, because we already have the Engraver and the Engraver. You don't really want to imperm this altogether, but we're going to be seeing them choose to dump, or not dumping. Now you definitely dump an Engraver here. There's no reason not to. But we're going to just not do that there. That definitely is a misplay. Maybe we don't play the Trap, but definitely think that's a misplay on our parts. And they're going to think here. I want to say that we're not very experienced with this deck. I feel like that we're kind of maybe learning the deck right now. And that, you know, we don't exactly know what the cards do, or we're not like really familiar with the combo there. So it looks like they're trying to like engraver, yeah, equip to Requiem. They're going to go for the Caesar there. They were looking like they were going to link summon, but we're going to be going for that Caesar line instead. And then we do have the nib on the summon there. So good thing we kind of went for the Caesar over the sequence, because then we would have lost our sequence. Now, interesting, we didn't dump the Lacrima off Lacrima there, because now we have no trap or a second engraver. But we are going to be able to continue with Circular here. Circular, we will dump a copy of, I want to say it's like the Nabla here. Okay. And can Nabla summon itself out? I thought it was only the old one that can. Now we don't want the diameter here in the hand. Unfortunately, open up that circular and diameter. Diameter can then let summon out the copy of Nabla. And then we are going to go for a circular effect. Now letting us search for that super factorial. But how are we going to get rid of all that altogether here? We're going to go up now into the Alembertian, ripping a card from their hand and their field here. So we're going to get rid of the nib as well as a Lurie here. And Lurie will then be able to summon itself out. They negate that with the Alembertian of the diameter negate, of course. A pretty decent hand rip, not going to lie. Or I guess getting that Lurie in the graveyard. Now, we don't really care because we're never going to want to normal summon it anyways, but it's kind of important that we do see that. I'm going to take a second to read the copy of the trap, making sure the wording is exactly what we remember it to be. And we're going to be left with 4 cards now for that draw for turn. So they could potentially have, a negate for one of those, and having like multiple hand traps in the hand can be definitely brutal. And if we do play the trap card and we just chose how to send it, that's going to be another interruption as well here on the Ryzeal side. Now we do set 1 card, and then just pass on that. Having 2 cards left in the hand, most likely being those hand traps there. Memento going on 4 cards, and we're going to be trying to see if they can play through it. Now we go for the tract, but now we can't search for and discard Lurie. We can discard the copy of Engraver that we end up searching here. We're going to opt to go for a Lacrima and discard a copy of Combined Creation. Okay? Opening up one of those bricks, not being the greatest. We do know some of the Lacrima, so not going up into any of our Memento combo here. And they do go for a super factorial there. And we just scoop it up, realizing the game is going to be lost, it looks like. We go for the Alembertian. We do have Engraver, so we're still playing through this. Now they do have a negate on that Alembertian. We now go up into the Requiem here. And then we go Requiem, slap down that Typhon there. And Typhon is normally a last defense type card. So it's going to be kind of very interesting to see how this is going to end up kind of resolving there. We're going to go for the Requiem, summing itself out, going for the Lacrima. Lacrima then act for the effect now. We do see a Judgment in their deck. And we do dump an Engraver here, most likely. But they know they have the Fiendsmith in Paradise. What are we doing? We should have done that earlier there, so we could have just Fiendsmith Paradise on that copy of Typhon. Oh, no. Definitely not having the normal knowledge of what the correct sequencing of the Ryzeal deck. Definitely is going to be a little bit of a misplay on our parts. You have to make sure that if you don't play the deck correctly, you will get pushed behind, which are going to be seeing. You get punished very hard here, almost allowing the cards have a crack back there. Now, Ryzeal is definitely going to be a very important card, a very important deck to kind of continue. Now, we do have Ext, which is going to be able to continue this combo. Having that Ext normal or self-summon out here in the crackback is going to be kind of enough for game. Now, we have a Lacrima set up ourselves. Now, are we playing it still going second is the question here. Now, we'd have the Imperm for the Ext. Now, they do have the Lacrima on the field, which is a level 4 as well. So that can potentially go for that duo drive and get them in the automatic game, because we still have not normal summoned. And now we go for the Lacrima in this case, so we can actually send that duo drive to the graveyard here. But we realize we have sided with that trap, which is very unfortunate for us. So they are going to be able to go up into that duo drive and get that search here that they so desperately are going to be needing. Yeah, we scoop it up there, realizing the game is going to be lost. Like, there's no point of playing that out. We have the ability to search for cross and ice. Ice normal summoned out, get the effects, and just kind of go ham here, which is going to be just exactly what we see happen. So we do see the Ryzeal deck end up taking game 2 without playing the prop and sequencing, but it is kind of fine. Sometimes you just get punished. Other times you just win because you have better on engine, or in this case, you have more engine to kind of play through it. Now, obviously, opening up some of those bricks, like we saw a Lurie as well as a copy of Combined Creation in the hand, not looking too hot for us. Having the normal summon of the Lacrima is definitely not something Memento wants to do at all. We saw 0 Memento cards other than a discard in the hand. One of the only Memento cards that we cannot actually use. We have a Chiron, Horn Dragon, as well as the Combined Creation himself that are kind of the soft bricks of the Memento deck there, which definitely is rough for us. It also is very important that we ended up popping the nib, and we shouldn't have done that there. Now obviously it did come in clutch because we got rid of random ass Lurie and they can negate it that turn. But if we would have had Attaching Usiku, we wouldn't actually be able to summon it out without tribute summoning, wasting our normal summon, and losing the ability to summon that Attaching Usiku there. Because of the fact that we have that Nibiru in the hand. So maybe in a world we don't actually want to pop it to minimize the top decks or the cards in the hand being great or just good starters altogether there. But dive on to game 3. We are going to be seeing Memento going to be going first once again here. Hopefully opening up better than we saw last game. But still, Ryzeal hoping to kind of tone in and realize what cards we kind of can beat. Going second, Ryzeal is definitely a lot easier. If we open up, X is going to be an absolute crazy combo. We're going to be seeing a normal summon or activation of the Engraver here once again. Searching for that track. Track's going to search for Lurie. Lurie is going to discard itself. And we're searching for a copy of Engraver because we already had the Lurie in the hand. Lurie going to summon itself out, going for the Requiem. Requiem is in effect going to activate now. Summoning out a Lacrima from the deck. And then now we go up into Requiem Equip. We go for Engraver Summon out first. Now we got to Link Away for a Sequence. Sequence can activate the effect, going to make the copy of the Aerial Eater here. So not having any of the Memento cards here, forcing us to activate the effect, dumping a copy of the Goblin, so not even be able to go up into that Caesar and then kind of combo off here. So this is going to be a combo that does lose to Nib quite easily. We see Aerial Leader banish 2 Engravers to summon itself out, which can then in turn let the Goblin being summoned out by the copy of the Cross Sheep down. Now we're going to activate the Goblin effect, sending the copy of the Gaddock as well as the Sleepy. Gaddock, Sleepy, summon itself out, kind of do the exchange. Go for Twin Dragon. Twin Dragon can activate the effect, allowing us to destroy and summon out 2, or search for 2 from the deck. And we have not used our normal summon as well as Twin Dragons and we'll summon it out here, which is important. We do search for the Chiron, which is an interesting search. Maybe having Spell in hand. And a Dark Blade. So we want multiple names in the hand. And we now have the Fusion Spell as well. And we didn't use Twin Dragon. That's going to be extremely rough on our parts. A misplay there. We're going to go for the 3, and then we're going to activate the effect, allowing us to summon out the Dark Blade. Oh, we chain it there. Okay. And then we're going to activate the effect here, dumping all 3. And then we're going to be banishing the search for the field spell here. We're going to activate the Dark Blade, destroy itself, summon out the copy of Anguish, and we're going to see the field spell going to activate the effect, allowing us to summon back out, as well as have the Chiron going to be summoning itself out here as well. And we do opt to search for the Mace. Now, we don't really have anything else other than maybe SP to kind of tag out into. I don't know the other cards in the hand here, but we still have not normal summoned out. So normal summon the Mace can become clutch there. We're going to see a normal summon for an Engraver. This will allow us to make the Caesar here. I've never seen that being done before. Now we go up into an SP. And then we are going to be seeing a banish of the fusion, destroying the Akiron. Let us search for the Bone Party. Akiron, let us add back that copy of the fusion here. Bone Party will then be able to destroy a card in the hand. Depending on what we have, we go for a shuffle back of that to summon out the Combined Creation. And then we are going to have Mace still in the hand. So we see a set 3, being the Bone Party and the Fusion. Then we're just going to pass turn on that, not having any of the Memento cards in the graveyard to kind of reset off of this field spell there. But it's going to be a very formidable end board. We have SP, Caesar, the Combined Creation, summon back out, as well as follow up in the Anguish. We're going to be seeing the 7 Tachyon going to activate its effects, allowing us to search for the 7th Ascension here. And we do let this resolve because there's no reason to not just search as a card. They already have the 7th, which also puts them down 1 card as well. So I tend to want to leave these cards kind of resolving. It does make them go minus, and then it's going to let us have less cards to negate, which is important in this matchup here. We're going to go for the Anguish Summon Elf off that Combined Creation because the activated card or effect, which will let us now search for the copy of Sleepy here and give us multiple pops off that Creation King. And then we do go for the 7th. And they reveal 104. So now we're going to be searching our deck, which is very fine for either an Ice or an X. And we do put back into the deck, which is going to be like -1, which is perfectly fine for me. The only thing is that if you search for an X, it's going to be very hard to kind of play through. But like, what do they choose in a gate? Obviously, I would assume that's going to be that Caesar. But we can still play through it without that Caesar going to be kind of resolving here. But they search for a sword instead, but they can't do that. So we tell them it's either X or Ice, which for the X there, which is going to be very difficult for us to play through if we do not have more negates than cards in their hand. So now we go for an X, which is going to send most likely the Meteorologic. And they will activate the effect. Negating that Caesar there definitely makes sense to me. You want to make sure that we do not get to use that Caesar as much as possible. And then we let that resolve. We do search for now that sword that we wanted to search for earlier here. And then we send up the sword there. And continue our plays, letting us search for potentially that Ice, giving us an additional 2 bodies. I feel like it has to be the Ice. We're not going to search for Star here. But we have now so much. We're going to go for the Creation King popping 2. That's going to allow us now to summon with the Chiron here. And then we still have the Bone Party to destroy the Chiron to add back. The follow-up in this part is very insane. Now we do normal summon the Ice, activating the effect, and then we do Ash this here. And then we go Mace to take. They now go for Bone Party, or not Bone Party, but the Bonfire here, searching for another copy of X, it appears to be. And they still have 2 cards left in their hands, but they're not able to do very much off of this. We have still SP on the field and Bone Party, as well as enough cards to kind of go up into the Combined Creation. They just scoop it up, or not the Creation, but the Guardian Chimera. We have a Talents as well, so they would kind of continue. We do see Memento taking game 3 there. Going first, not having any hand traps, essentially just means GG this format. There's not much you can really do against it. Regardless, hope much in the video. Let me know in the comment section if you guys want to see any other decks. If you want to see Memento or you want to see more Ryzeal. Let me know in the comment section down below. We're going to try to do this for you guys on the channel. And don't forget to stay safe. Peace.